Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you're having a great day. Really quick training video on how to address some of the objections that I heard in our sales meeting yesterday. I'm going to do a number of videos, I think, just on basic sales training tactics. One thing you've got to remember is we are in a sales business, whether we are salesy or not. So it would probably behoove you to get some sales training, at least some sales training books, and I can recommend some books to you on how to address customers, how to overcome objections, how to present things in a way that those objections don't even happen. Because a lot of times when you get an objection, you have to remember what an objection is. An objection isn't a bad thing. It merely means you have not given me the information I need to make a decision. All right. So, case in point, I think Jana was mentioning yesterday, she talked to someone and the gentleman was asking what the catch was. You know, she had presented what we do to him and he wanted to know what the catch. Now, no offense to Jana or anyone like this, but when someone asks you what the catch is, that simply means you haven't given them all the information that they need to understand. Okay. And you've also got to think about human nature. People are not used to getting a good deal. People are actually used to being taken advantage of. So when you tell them that you're going to save them money, it's only natural for them to go, what's the catch? All right. So when someone asks you that, it's not a bad thing. It simply means explain it to me a little more. So what I would do then is I would make sure, number one, that I've done a really good job of explaining to them everything that we do. Okay, how we are going to save them X number of dollars off the listing fee. I always use my Why List With Me sheet. Here's how I do it. When I sit down with a customer, and honestly, I don't really sit down much. I don't do a presentation. You know, when I go look at a house, I ask the customer to give me a tour. As they are giving me a tour, I ask questions. How long have you lived here? Why are you moving? What's the age of the roof? How's the HVAC? Have you done any improvements? I am conversationally asking questions and making mental notes about things that I need to know. You know, why are you moving? Well, maybe they're downsizing. Maybe the kids are gone. Maybe they're empty nesting. Maybe there's a railroad track out back that makes a hell of a lot of noise and they just want to move. You'd be surprised at how honest people are with you when you're asking these questions. So as you're going through, I'm trying not to sneeze. As you're going through the house tour with the client, you're just asking questions, all right? If they were an expired listing, for example, if they just came off a listing with someone else, it's perfectly okay to ask, why do you think the house didn't sell? What did your former agent do that you thought was good and that you thought was not so good? Now, don't ever get into a situation where you're dogging another agent. Don't do that, no matter how hard that is to resist. You're just wanting to know in that customer's mind, what does he or she think could have been done differently to have gotten a better result? Now, you want to know all of this because when you're going in asking for the listing, you're going to have that ammunition in your back pocket. Okay. So what I do is I show up at the house. I ask for a quick tour. As they are giving me the tour, I am making conversation. I am asking questions. I am making notes. And then when it comes time to tell them about Revolved, I never guide them to a table and sit down because I'm not doing a presentation. Okay, when I was at Keller Williams, they trained you on how to do a 45-minute presentation, and it was basically one of those boring as hell PowerPoints on a flip chart that I would not sit through. So there's no way I'm going to do this with a customer. You know, what I typically do is I will show up. If it's a listing appointment, I'll show up with 3 or 4 comps because I want to let them know what the house is going for, what the competition is, that sort of thing. I will have the price matrix and I will have my Why List With Me sheet. Now that's when I get to the house. All right. Once I'm face to face. When I'm just on the telephone, I don't want to talk prices. I'm not there to sell. I simply am calling to get an appointment to come see the house. All right. If you're trying to do anything else on a phone call, you're doing it wrong as far as I'm concerned. Okay. When I call up, let's say I'm calling a FSBO out of RedX. If you've trained with me, you know how I do it. I try to be very conversational. I try to be very friendly. I try to be completely non-salesy. I'll call the number. If they answer, "Hi, is this Bob?" "Yes." "Hey, Bob, it's Tim with Revolved Realty. How are you?" Now, I'm doing a couple of things. I'm not going, "Hello, is this Bob Smith?" Because when you do that, they immediately turn off because they think it's a telemarketer. If you go, "Hi, is this Bob?" Very friendly, very conversational. If they say yes, "Hey, Bob, it's Tim with Revolved Realty. How are you today?" I do not say, "Hi, my name is Tim Knox. I'm a local realtor calling to talk to you." Again, negativity. What I try to do is use an air of familiarity, meaning it's like I'm calling up a friend. Okay. "Hey, is this Bob?" "Yes." "Hey, Bob, it's Tim with Revolved Realty. How are you today?" They'll typically go, "Well, I'm fine. How are you?" I will always try to make some snarky remark. "Hey, I'm great, just trying to keep warm in this cold weather, or just trying to keep dry, or trying to get over Christmas," whatever. All right. Then you go immediately into the reason that you are calling. "Hey, Bob, I'm calling just for two quick questions. Number one, do you still have the house on Elm Street?" "You do? Fantastic. Are you willing to work with an agent if I have a qualified buyer for your house?" Now, typically what they're going to say is, "Do you have a buyer?" And don't ever lie to them and tell them that you do. That's misleading. We don't do that. I simply say, "I work with buyers in your area all the time. I don't know if I have one that would specifically fit your house, which is why I want to run by tomorrow, take 2 minutes really quick, let you give me a quick tour. I'll be in and out. Is tomorrow at 3 or Friday at 5 better?" You see what I did there? I used things like really quick, just a couple of minutes, in and out. I want them to know that I'm not coming to their house to camp out and give them a long presentation. I simply want to drop by really quick, take me 2 minutes in and out to take a look at the house so I will know if it's a good fit for one of my buyers. Then I don't say, "What time is good for you?" I always suggest the time. Okay. "Hey, Bob, is Friday at 3 or Saturday at 5 better for you? Which one works?" When you do it that way, they are more apt to pick one of the times that you suggest. When you say, "What's a good time for you?" you are putting the decision making on their side, and they're going to come up and go, "Well, I don't know. Maybe if you call me tomorrow." We're not doing that. We're not even asking for the appointment. We are taking for granted that we're going to go see their house. And we're doing it in such a way that it's very friendly and they are very open to letting us come by. All right, let me go through the whole thing one more time. Ring, ring. "Hey, is this Bob?" "Yes, it is." "Hey, Bob, it's Tim with Revolved Realty. How are you?" "I'm great. How are you?" "Hey, man, I'm just trying to keep warm in this cold weather. Really quick, Bob, I'm calling about the house you have on Elm Street. Two things. Number one, is it still for sale?" Great. If they say yes, you say great. If they say no, you say, "Congratulations. Did you sell it?" They never say that. So they say, "Yes, it is still for sale." "Fantastic. I was curious, if I were to have a buyer for your property, would you be open to working with an agent?" Or I can say, "Just curious, are you willing to work with me if I have a buyer for the property?" They're always going to say, "Do you have a buyer? I work with a lot of buyers in your area, Bob, but I don't know if I have a good fit for your house. That's why I want to come by really quick, take me 2 minutes in and out, and take a look. Is Friday at 9 or Saturday at 3 good?" All right. So I don't even get into it with them over the phone. I am not calling to list their house. I'm simply calling to make an appointment to come see the house. If you are pitching the flat fee matrix over the phone, you are doing it incorrectly. Do it like I train, okay? Because this is the way that works. Because what I want to do is just get in front of them, and then I can show them the comps that I brought. Then I pull out the flat fee matrix sheet, and I do the math right there on the sheet. When I'll pull out the comps. I'll say, "Hey, Bob, I brought these along so you'll know what your competition is. By the way, here's what we do. We are a flat fee listing company." And then I do the math. "Okay, Bob, you know how it works. You're selling a $200,000 house. Typically, there's 3% on the listing side, 3% on the buy side." And I'm writing this down as I talk. All right. So I do the math. If it's a $200,000 house and there's going to be a 3% sales commission, that's $6,000. I write it out. All right. And then I say, Bob, normally on the listing side, you'd pay $6,000 here. But if you look down at our matrix, you're only going to pay $39.95, saving you $2,005. And I circle the bejesus out of it and tap it with my pen so he can see what we're doing. What I'm doing at that point is I'm not selling, I'm simply showing him how much money he's going to save. Then I talk about the other things that we do. I'll pull out my Why List With Me sheet and I go down the list. Photographs, video, signage, open houses, Facebook ads, website, Zillow, Truly, etc. Right? So by that point, they're not going to ask what the catch is because I've explained we are a flat fee listing agency. This is how we do things. This is how much money we're going to save. So I think that what might be happening to some folks is you're trying to do too much on the phone ahead of time. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But it doesn't really matter. If you have outlined everything that we do, all right. They shouldn't have a question about the catch. Now, they may still be suspicious and they may be just some cantankerous old bastard that's just trying to be snarky. But again, don't spend more than 2 minutes on the phone. And I know Zach and I differ on this, but my style, this is what works for me. All right. You have to develop your own style. In my opinion, when you're calling a for sale by owner or an expired listing, if you are on the phone more than 2 minutes, you are talking too much. Okay. And then when you get there, you're not there to do a sales presentation. You're there to do a walkthrough of the house. You're there to ask questions. Then you lay out what we do. And there is no catch. Okay. I had a guy one time ask me on the phone, well, what are you selling? And I said, I'm not selling anything other than your house. So there you go. I hope that's helpful. If you have questions or comments, drop them in below and I'll try to clarify it. Just don't try to do too much. When you are doing that initial phone call, you just want to go out, look at the house, get in front of them with the intention of giving them the flat fee matrix and showing what we can do. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. If it wasn't, give me one of these. If it was, give me one of these. All right. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Happy to do so all the time.